start taking them in a few minutes. So send them to Davey. We'll collect them and we'll be asking those questions on backstage. So do send them in, do get them in. And I think we have some leftover from last week. It's just been so many great questions. And we're so blessed that you asked those questions. We certainly appreciate you tuning in, watching, and caring enough to send those questions in. We love them. We love to hear from you, not only in the comments, but an email. There's been some wonderful emails coming lately, appreciating. And I think even you guys have been traveling, you guys have been hearing some good things about the episodes of Catching Up. People have gotten a lot out of it. And so we're blessed to hear that as well. So not only online, but when they meet you guys, David and Jacob, you guys have heard some good things. So let's go to the Middle East. Let's go to Israel. Jacob, you just came from there. So I think it's only right for you to share what you saw, concerns, the spiritual environment, the most important one, the political environment, and just some of the things going on in the Temple Mount. I'm not sure if you got a chance to go to that area. I wasn't privy to where you went, but
I was at the hotel.
Okay, wonderful. So let's start there. The spiritual environment, we'll go to the political environment, and then your take on the future, what's going on there, because there's so many enemies are ramping up their attack on Israel.
Okay, the judicial reform conflict in Israel that was dividing even the conservative backers of Netanyahu against him, that has seemed to die down. One of the things that happens in Israel, of course, is that the tide can change very quickly, that something can be all the focus of news and attention, and the next day it's something else. What happens with Iran is the thing that continually haunts Israel above all else. And when you had Iranian involvement with the Al-Aqsa Brigade on the Temple Mount and these increased attacks on the West Bank and in East Jerusalem, this tends to unite the people of Israel above and beyond party lines. We have a common enemy. So Islam is the glue, or the opposition of Islam is the glue that artificially holds Israel together sociologically and politically in many respects. If they didn't have a common enemy, they would fight each other to the point of the country being so divided it will be dysfunctional. I honestly believe that. Between the religious and the secular, between the Ashkenazi and Sephardic, between the political divisions ideologically of the main parties, and so forth. The common enemy is the feature. When I was there, it was the common enemy. The Iranian threat, again, beginning to lurk. The Israelis generally feel they've been betrayed by the United States, by the Biden administration. There's a general feeling we can no longer trust and rely on America. That is what's happened with Saudi Arabia. That is what's happened in a lot of places. We can no longer rely on the United States. Well, under Biden, that's definitely happening in Israel. The Biden administration, like Obama's, was no real friend of Israel. And they're pandering to the Iranians who are determined to destroy Israel. So that is the general sentiment that was going on in Israel when I was there. The internal divisions over judicial reform had subsided. It was happening to a much lower degree of emphasis in the media or public conversation. It was not the main issue. The main issue has reemerged in Iran, but what you're seeing happening now also on the Muslim side of Jerusalem, of East Jerusalem, is the centrality of the Temple Mount. The centrality of the Temple Mount, of not only the Mosque of Omar, but more so the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the Al-Aqsa Brigade. I was just there looking at it the other day. This is what is happening. You had Jews arrested for trying to pray on the Temple Mount during Passover and Ramadan. That is becoming the point of conflict. That 1 square mile of the Temple Mount, that place that is the largest still man-made plateau in the world, all the way from the time of Herod the Great, it's still the largest man-made plateau in the world. That 1 square mile is going to ultimately be the center of human destiny. It's all going to take place on that one piece of real estate. that I've been to many times. It is there the Antichrist is going to set up an image in a tribulational temple, I'm quite sure, but it is also the place where Christ will reign in the millennium and Satan needs to control it, but it is also the pivotal focus of conflict between the Palestinian Arabs and the Jewish Israelis at this very, very moment. It's Jerusalem. Now, this very much lines up with two passages of scripture, particularly. One is obviously Zechariah 12, and the other is
Yes.
Revelation chapter 11. The outer court will be given to the Gentiles. The stage is obviously being set. It is only a matter of time before we see a false peace brokered that will result in the construction of a temple